Hello everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. We're playing a Minotaur Berserker of Trog. In the last episode, we got the rune from Swamp, so there we go. There it is, Decaying Rune. Look it over in all of its green glory. And we are heading to, I guess, Spider next? Like, we should be alright in Spider. And vaults can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Yeah, my evasion is fine. That's the thing I like to, well, you want a decent amount of both AC and EV in Spider. If you go in there without any AC, like, stuff that you don't think is going to do much damage to you just absolutely wallops you, has been my experience. But you need EV as well. Otherwise, stuff like Tarantellas and Redbacks who, like, do something particularly nasty when they hit you. Like, they apply some effect other than just doing damage, right? Tarantellas confuse you. Redbacks apply a giant pile of poison whenever they get through. Speaking of, okay, I do have poison resist on. If you have like just a bunch of armor and no evasion, then you're not protected from any of those effects, which makes those enemies quite a problem. Also, we're not stealthy at all, which is a bit of a problem. I'm gonna try and stay close to the walls, try to avoid charging in anywhere. Try not to auto-explore, you know, all the stuff that I should do all the time but usually don't bother with. Because it's really important not to get surrounded in Spider. Let's just get up. Broad Clouds is vampiric. Let's just paralyze him. There we go. Come on, Jumping Spider. We gotta talk. Okay, down he goes. And I also want to keep an eye on my gold, because we're just like 200, call it 300 gold away from getting that armor of the Dragon King. That would be quite nice. I realized, like, I don't know, my terminal is a little bit larger than usual. The mapping area in the, like, I don't know. I play this full screen on a kind of small screen. So this means that the game is like, hey, whoa, geez, that's a lot of spiders. The game is like, hey, you've got a bunch of room, you know, we'll use up some more room for you. And like, I try to avoid that. I'd rather play at 80 by 24. Just because it makes the games the replays easier to watch. Yeah, see, here's the Tarantella being an issue now. It's kind of a pain to watch a replay of someone who doesn't play 80 by 24. But finally, no longer confused. Let's paralyze this guy as well. Got him. But I don't really have a reliable way to set the terminal size to, like, I don't know. It guesses my terminal size at some point, and I can't figure out exactly when. Oh my god, really? Alright, let's cure out of this, I guess. Trog, bring me something, please. And then I'm going to be invisible. Sure, that should help. I guess there are a lot of Tarantellas. So anyway, like, I don't reliably, like, if you go look at probably the last episode, you'll see that the map was smaller, and like, I just don't know exactly how to get Crawl to guess the size that I want it to guess for my terminal size, so it's like just irregular and kind of a pain. Oh well, not a humongous imposition, but kind of a hassle on occasion. Like, this is what's nicest to play at, for sure. If I could have it this way all the time, would I? I don't know. I don't want to be one of those huge term jerks. You guys using huge terminals making it impossible. Because, like, I want to watch the replays of my games, too, sometimes. Check out, like, how I died in Spider because I was tabbing an orb spider or whatever dumb thing. Or, you know, more positively, rewatch that glorious time that I ninja'd the orb, or, you know, as an Octopode Wizard of Zin with Sanctuary and Passage of Glubria or whatever dumb stuff. Like, that's fun to watch. I don't think that was on camera. It probably wasn't. I don't think I was recording at the time, was I? I guess I might have been? I don't know. That is to say, if I had started doing YouTube at all, not if I was recording that game, because I'm pretty sure I wasn't. But was I recording any games at that time? I'm not sure. Torpor Snail. But I think the last game I had to get Greater Player was an Octopode Wizard of Zin. And he was like just so disgustingly weak all game long. I got to Zot and I was like, what am I like? I can't even kill any of the monsters here. How am I supposed to? Or actually, I got to Depths, and it was like I need to do Zot 5, and I just can't kill any monsters. I have like kind of okay stealth, but nothing too amazing, and so I just like learned Warp Weapon and Blink and Passage of Glubria and just tried to like sneak through Zot. If anything saw me, I like hit it with the Dagger Distortion until it went away. And then Zot 5 was a blast because of like Zin powers. Zin's abilities are really whoa, hello. You know, if you're gonna blink me right next to you, I guess we can fight. If you must. Oh, I can turn on Trog's Hand and no, blink other close. Doesn't appear to have a magic resistance component, so we'll just tab her, I guess. That's a pretty tough Iron Shot. Anyway, but it's Zin's powers are really cool on the Orb Run and in Zot 5, right? Like you get to the Orb Room, the Orb Chamber, I should say, and you're like surrounded by all these horrible Orb Guardians, and you're like, oh no, what am I gonna do? And it's like, oh, I know, I'll just tell them all to go away because I have Zin. Which is pretty cool to be able to do that. You know, I got to the Orb Room and I was just surrounded by enemies, and it was like I needed to pick up the orb and use my Passage of Glubria to get out. And I was like, oh, I'll just Sanctuary, and then they all have to leave. That was pretty cool. And then, you know, being able to imprison monsters on the Orb Run when you're like, I don't want to deal with you right now. I guess that's nice to have. You know, a Panlord shows up or something, or a Tormentor, and you're just like, Zin, could you hang on to that guy for me? And he just gets put in a cage, and you don't have to worry about him. So Zin, I don't know, is ooh, oh, ah, no, oh, okay, what do we do? Like, teleport is looking pretty strong. There's no... Oh, there is a staircase. Where is the staircase? I can't see it. It's under this spider. Okay, well maybe we don't teleport then. Maybe we just walk towards this guy. Ugh, this is like the anthill vault too. Jeepers creepers. Alright, I'm glad we got out of there. It was just getting nasty. But anyway, Zin's pretty cool. He feels to me pretty weak in the like early to mid game because Recite is like the main thing you're using, and it just takes a ton of invocations and doesn't seem to do much for like the amount of investment. It's like okay eventually, but it takes a while to get there. Vitalization is like I guess people say it's good, and like having stats is good, but it just never feels like super noticeable to me. It's just like a reasonable buff that's okay. Is this the nasty staircase? Oh, it is. Let's try a different one. So I don't do a lot of Zin. If I'm gonna go with one of the good gods, I don't know. I kind of like to go like Olivelon first because she really does help for a big portion of the game. Arguably for all of it. Like she's fine in Hell and so on as well. But you know, TSO kind of shines in the extended game, and Zin is pretty good for like the mid to late normal game, I guess. That's sort of my personal preference anyway. You can carry any of the three of them like with you all the time if you want, but they give you the ability to switch, and so it's like, you know, you might as well make use of it. And I feel like Olivelon is, of the three, easily the best early. TSO is probably the best late, but Zin is also really good. And Ellie is fine late, but nothing stand out, it seems like to me. But maybe I just don't know how to use her properly in the late game. But there's some fun tricks you can do with Ellie, you know, you can invoke divine protection where you're like, Ellie, I'm about to die, please don't let me die. And she's like, fine, but you better not kill anyone while I'm watching you. But she actually doesn't mind if you kill like evil beings, undead or demons or so on. It's only if you kill living things that she gets mad. So you can, like, for example, if your piety is high enough that you're guaranteed protection, you can, like, fight a player ghost, content in the knowledge that if you would die, like, instead you'll just lose a big chunk of piety. And if you kill it, like, that's fine. Ellie doesn't mind. Yeah, get dodged, you stupid orb. But, I mean, on the whole, of course, you should avoid getting into a situation where you need divine protection, but if you do need it, it can be a big lifesaver. Ha ha ha. No pun intended there, but it's sort of hard to not pun, really. Because it really is a lifesaver. It will save your life. I'm sure I've mentioned before on the channel, but, you know, it's a good story, so it could always do with re-mentioning. I was in, I was playing the Crawl Sudden Death tournament. Crawl Sudden Death Challenge, I suppose it was called. And the first, this is a little nasty. Let's just Berserk. Yeah, there we go. The first week of that, or maybe it was like week 4, but it was the first week I recorded or something like that. I don't remember what the deal, not recorded. Ah, no, week 4 is the first week I recorded, but week 1 is the week I'm thinking of, which is when I played a Naga Wizard and had to go, like, lairless. My goal was to, like, win the game without visiting lair at all. And it's, like, real hard, because then you have to get your first rune from, like, Abyss before you're even allowed into vaults. Or Hell, you can do Hell, that's fine too. But it's pretty hard to do that without having gone to lair for experience. Where's the Entry Weaver? There. Let's just duck out over here. We've got a pretty good angle on them from here. Anyway, and like I forget who I used early, but I switched to Zin. Who would I have switched from? It was like a Naga Wizard of maybe Dithmenos? No. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I switched to like Zin at some point. Once I had done whatever was required of me with that other god for the points. And I was trying to do depths to like grind up a little bit more experience before I finally went into Abyss, I think it was. And there was a Juggernaut that I ran into, and I was like, okay, I'm afraid of the Juggernaut, I'll run away. And so like I ran away, but I ran into the Juggernaut again later, and I was like, you know, I should be okay, I'll try to hit him. And I got this message while I was fighting him. Were there 4 exclamation points or 3? I think probably just 3. But anyway, like, a lot of damage. Right, so this gets printed in when a god chooses to save your life. This gets printed instead of the death message, or the damage message you would normally get. So it's like the so and so hits you! Exclamation! 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 And it's like I don't know. It's always like a harsh awakening when you're like, oh, I was about to die, and Zin protected me from that damage, and I'm still at like 80 health or 100 health or something. That thing just hit me for 100 all at once. Juggernauts are nasty creatures. Stop carrying... Actually, let's just eat all of our meat. There you go. We're low on heal wounds in the sense that we do not have any. So that's something I would love to get, is like a wand of heal wounds or something. Enchant weapon. Well, we can enchant our Logitang. For now, I'll just carry it around, I guess. I don't think I would use a +6 Logitang anyway, so... yeah, I don't need that, thanks. Put back on this. Get my Logitang. I don't know. So I shouldn't enchant it up if I'm still not going to use it, because then I can like avoid committing. Drop my Wand of Flame and a spare Wand of Disintegration, and pick up another Wand of Ice Blast. Oh, we're super, super close, gold-wise, right? Gold pie. Yeah, there's some gold pie down there on layer 6. So let's head up there. What's the porcupine doing in the spider nest? Get out of here. Alright, so there should be gold right here. And then when I go and get the other gold over there, we have it! Hooray! So let's go get the Armor of the Dragon King now. That should be a big upgrade. Scary Stairs. Don't enter. Instead, remove that annotation and go again. A Cyclops. Oh, how exciting. But we got him. And please give me, yes, this. Now my defenses right now are 30-20. If I wear this, they'll be better, I presume. Yeah, I'll take it. I really wish my EV were better, but we need more strength for that mostly, I think. Yeah, okay, this seems fine. I'm in favor. Get out of here, you dang ringmail. And now we'll go back to Spider. And our resists should be much improved as well, right? In fact, we no longer need this ring of poison resistance, and we can instead put on See Invisible for the ghost moths? I don't know. It's not super important. Alright, so what staircase were we using? This one. Yeah, here, try, just enjoy. Okay, there's the door. Oops. Here is the door we don't want to use yet. Let's clear everything else out first. A lot of Wands of Ice Blast. I feel like it wouldn't hurt to put back one of the old wands that got removed. Like, I don't know, just something to increase the variety of damage wands. But maybe it was just sort of like a false variety anyway. Like, there was a bunch of wands that all did a kind of damage, and it didn't really matter what kind in practice. Let's get out of here and fight here instead. This is a much better spot. Yeah, and Vamp is healing us back up now. Just gotta not let yourself get caught out in the open in Spider. Yeah, our evasion is quite poor. Yikes, 12, huh? I'm not a fan. But that's life, I guess. Let's just run back here. This should be fine. Let's unexclude the door, please. We're probably missing a bit more also, but I don't know. This will fix itself with time. And wearing the heavier armor is going to help, like, through the rest of the game. It'll... Oh! Okay, this is not a good place to be. What do we do about it? So I feel like this is the kind of thing where less experienced Minotaur Berserkers, that is to say, players, less experienced players, who maybe have gotten their first rune and they're really excited and they just found the armor of the Dragon King, might be like, wow, you know, I'm invincible, and they get caught up in tabbing, and they get to a position like this, and they don't realize it's really, really bad. Because it's terrible. I need to get out of here. Maybe I could survive by, like, calling in some Trog Bros and berserking and, like, doing all this crazy stuff. But maybe not. And if I don't do all that stuff, I'm definitely not going to survive, or at least I'll risk dying. And I think being able to recognize just how bad a spot this is a skill that perhaps some of the less experienced players who get this far and then end up dying, like that's what they're missing, is realizing just how bad it is to have lost, what is that? Not quite a quarter of my health, but close. Call it 20%. 20% of their health without really doing any appreciable damage, and be corroded at -8 out in the open with several spiders on you and then a big handful more on their way. Like, that's really bad. And if you don't recognize that, you can get yourself into some really awful spots. But since we do recognize it, we can just bounce. You know, and it'll be like, gosh, don't I feel dumb for getting into that spot? But there you go, we're out, right? There's enough teleport in a game that, like, you can afford to make a lot of mistakes as dumb as that one, as long as you recognize and admit that you made them. So I think, like, there's a lot of different ways you can improve as a crawl player. One of them is learning how to get out of bad positions, like that one. And, you know, working on that will help. Will help you win more often. But also, what I try to do more often is learning not to get into bad positions so you don't have to get out of them. Manage line of sight. Stay near good tactical terrain. You know, all this kind of stuff. Don't approach an area with lots of enemies, where lots of enemies would be a problem, rather. Of course, you don't know if there are lots of enemies when you're approaching, but if it would be a problem for multiple enemies to be there, try to find another way to approach. You know, use your consumables. Yeah, get out of here, you stupid orb. Whoa! Oh! I made an error. That's a funny one. I was trying to dodge the orb of destruction. You guys see what I'm pointing at here? Not pointing at, but orb of destruction hits a large closed door. So I successfully dodged the orb, but in doing so, I let the orb smash into the door, opening up the rune vault that I was not planning to tackle just yet. I was like, spiders are never going to open the door, so I don't have to worry about it. But no, the door is open. The spiders found a way to open it. They used an orb spider. So there's now a whole bunch of angry bugs around. What do we do about that? We have a potion of invisibility. That's pretty good. I feel like using that now before all these other guys come around the corner will help a lot. Yeah, let's go for it. What else? Rod of Clouds is quite strong, but we're wielding this vampiric weapon, so swapping back would be kind of a pain. Maybe just like a potion of might. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Quaff. Actually, even more than might, I think I need agility. Help me dodge all this crap. And now that I've got the orb spider down, I want to call in a Trogbro. Try not to get yourself killed too much, Mr. Stone Giant. I'm feeling like maybe I should have used a potion of might as well, because I'm not doing as much damage as I would like. There's sort of an anti-synergy with using Brothers in Arms and invisibility, because you kind of want to be tanking the hits if you can. At any rate, the moderate-sized hits, not the huge ones. We're about to lose Invis, and our bro is dead, so let's just Berserk. This should be fine. This gets us the might and the haste to combine with the agility. Our strength is 29. Oh, but that's because of Berserk. So it's actually 24. And likewise, Dex is only actually 15. But I think I do still want some more strength. Gold Dragon Armor is pretty heavy. What's this, Trog? A new quarterstaff I don't care about. That's fine. Yeah, so I think we were able to use the Brothers in Arms and invisibility to sort of thin the pack enough that Berserk became a safe option. It wouldn't have been safe to just charge in there and Berserk. So that was an example of, like, we kind of got into a bad situation with the Orb Spider, blowing up the door when we didn't really expect it. But we recognized immediately, I guess we didn't really get, something bad happened, which was that the door opened when we didn't want it to, right? But we didn't let it, whoa, oh, that was, okay, whew. I saw like a giant drop in one of those bars on the top right. I thought it was my, my HP, but no, it was just my MP from Ghost Moths. Alright, there's way too many monsters here. I was chasing down this electric eel because I thought the area was pretty much clear, but it's not at all clear. Anyway, so something bad happened, but we didn't let it turn into a bad situation because we recognized the potential for, like, oh, soon there will be many monsters here. What should we do? Let's use some of our consumables. You know, let's use a potion of invisibility. Let's ask Trog for help. And as a result, it was never terribly dangerous. But it could have been if we hadn't recognized the impending danger. So that was sort of an example of avoiding bad situations, preventing, I should say, bad situations rather than knowing how to escape from them. I was talking earlier about how there's, like, you could do either of those two things to improve your play, which is still true. And we've sort of done both this episode, right? We escaped the dumb situation of, like, walking into right where we are now, actually, earlier when there was a bunch of those guys. And also when we got shafted, of course anyone would recognize, well, is that true? Everyone recognizes that getting shafted is bad. And when you land, there's a bunch of monsters, but I don't know. Some players are like, oh, my HP is fine, so I'm fine. But that was a really bad spot we needed to get out of in a hurry. There was a spot here we needed to get out of in a hurry. So we learned about escaping from those. And over here, we sort of prevented a bad situation by seeing it coming and applying our consumables while they had as much leverage as possible, right? A potion of might does you little good when you're at 20 health, because you need to, like, quaff heal wounds instead. But if you can see that you might get into such a position, then you can use a Potion of Might to prevent getting that bad. And it, you know, all your consumables just have a lot more oomph if you use them before you're in really bad shape, and rather to prevent getting into really bad shape. Heal Wounds, maybe not so much, of course. That one is at its best when you're in terrible shape, but you'd rather not get there. Better to use Might and Agility and so on instead. Anyway, so that was Spider. We went in, grabbed our rune, pontificated a bit on numerous things. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.